Why even delay? Why even delay? I was gonna let the beat right out for a little bit. Oh wait, I turned down myself. My bad. My bad. There we go. Why even wait to discuss? You know what I'm saying? Hope y'all enjoy the music in the background. You know what I'm saying? Let me know if I'm too loud or if the audio is too loud. You know what I'm saying? Let me know down below in that comment section. Of course, if you're watching on VOD, well, I guess if you're watching on VOD, you can't direct me to change the stream. But if you're watching live in the chat, I mean, of course, let me know how the audio is sounding. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have some somber, chill, lo-fi hip-hop mix in the background. You know what I'm saying? It's trying times over here on this side. You know what I'm saying? There's some trying times. And we're gonna talk a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We're just gonna discuss it. You know? I can make a poll if you guys want to in the chat just to have there chilling. I think that might be a good thing to do. You know? Let's make a poll. Let me lower those notifications down too. Okay. Is the Microsoft I can't even believe that's a real thing, guys. Guys, they bought Call of Duty. What the fuck? Oh man. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. Is the Microsoft acquisition good? Wait, of Activision good or bad for the industry? Also, shout out to y'all being up so early in the morning. At least on the West Coast over here on this side. It's like 9 a.m. So shout out to y'all. I'm going to add 3 different answers that you can answer. Yes, no, or unsure, right? Just y'all can have a little variety in your way of answering. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I see artwork in the chat saying we are doomed. Ooh, are we doomed? Are we doomed, ladies and gentlemen? Are we doomed? All right. Let's just rip the Band-Aid. Yes, I know my hair is not fucking done, okay? I have not taken a shower. I just ate some breakfast, you know what I'm saying? So let's just go over what happened. Okay, let's just break it down from top to bottom. Oh, by the way, also guys, let me know any questions you have down. Like, just shoot me off questions. Let's just have an open discussion about Microsoft buying Activision. Okay, so y'all here. Let me put the stream this way so I can actually face you guys and actually face the camera. That would be nice. So let's and if you guys want me to pull up tweets or anything like that, let me know. I would be happy to do that. All right. And also let me know if the music is too much or whatever. I'm gonna put it down just a little bit, just so it's not like overbearing or anything like that. Let's see. Carlos says, going unsure. The closest tweet to my feelings were Imran Khan. Okay. So here's what happened yesterday, right? So yesterday, I had the video that I already put up yesterday, which by the way, go check out that. You know, the whole, what I think is the real problem that we shall be focusing on in terms of Sony making more PlayStation 4s and allegedly extending the production dates for PlayStation 4 throughout 2022, right? Because I think the main issue of that is not that the fear that PS5s won't be made in a higher capacity, but the cross-gen nature of the cross-gen games of the first party. So there we go, check out that video, guys. That I had up and edited on Monday. Well, not up, but edited and done on Monday to be posted on Tuesday, because Tuesday I had a lot of things to do, guys. I had to get my car emissions test. I had to get my car re-registered. I had to get my suit fitted for my little brother's wedding. Like, I had a ton of different things going on yesterday that when that news hit yesterday, I was like, damn, I really want to sit down and talk about it. But also, I'm kind of glad I took 24 hours just to let myself settle on this news and really take it in all aspects and hear a lot of different people talk about what they think about it and formulate my opinion, right? And I made a couple notes on my notes app as I was thinking about it through the day, because I didn't want to come on here and just give my first like knee-jerk reaction to this news, because those that are littling or those that are downplaying this move by Microsoft, you really shouldn't be. Let me move my mic just a little bit closer. You really shouldn't be downplaying this news. This is the biggest thing that's ever happened in gaming since I've been alive ever. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the biggest thing in gaming that happened in a very long time. And the previous one was done by the same company last year when they bought Bethesda. You know what I'm saying? So my group chat with Christian Buckley, of course, of JoyClicks. Make sure to check out youtube.com/JoyClicks, and Jack Martin as well, good friend, also does a lot of work on JoyClicks as well. But they're blowing up the group chat, and they're like, oh shit, wait till Kevin sees this news, and like wait till he wakes up, because like this shit gonna be crazy. So it happens. Microsoft bought Activision. It's a move that I never thought would happen, right? I knew Microsoft was being very aggressive with acquisitions, right? Like and they really are like wanting to secure a lot of studios to bolster Game Pass, because I do feel that like ultimately that is their main objective here with these acquisitions. It is to bolster Game Pass and to bolster their portfolio, right? So that's something that they've been doing, but I never thought they would take one of the primary third parties off the board. You know what I'm saying? Like I always thought that Ubisoft was safe. Safe. I always thought Activision was safe of all entities to talk about here in this discussion. I always thought that Take-Two was safe, EA was safe, right? Like the big third-party players, right? And that Microsoft will be looking at. You know what? I'm gonna remove these. I'm gonna hide those notifications. If y'all like my speech, if y'all like what I gotta say, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, share. You know what I'm saying? Support the content over here on PlayStation Source. But these bottom things are just distracting. So I never thought that they would take one of the main third-party players off the board, right? Lo and behold, yesterday it happened. Microsoft acquired Activision for how much was it? Because people have been rounding up to like 70 billion, and it's like, yo, you can't really do that. That's like $1.5 billion, you know what I'm saying? We shouldn't be rounding that, you know what I'm saying? Let me see how much they bought it for, because I forgot. Let's see. $68.7 billion. $68.7 billion. And if y'all forgot, they bought Blizzard last year for what, 7 point something? Like 7 billion, something like that. Literally nearly a tenth of the price of this acquisition, right? So this is a huge deal, right? So where I'm at with it, I think we should talk a little bit about how I interface with Activision, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys know also. What's up, chat? What's good, Isaiah Hunter? What's good, KC Ghost? What's good, my boy Jay Shock Go? Flaming Gamer in the house. JP in the house. I remember you from a few streams back. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my boy Carlos Rodriguez as well, of course. Definitely check out Nerd of the Day podcast with my boy Carlos. Shout out to y'all. What's good, my boy Arturo Derevino? Good morning, my good sir. All right. So look, where I'm at with Activision, right? So if you guys have been following me for a while, you probably already know that I come from a very, 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 very aggressive COD fanboy phase, right? Like I was very much into Call of Duty, and that was pretty much the only game I played from, we'll say, like 2009 to like maybe 2012, 2013. It wasn't like that was the only game I was playing, but I would play other games and then go back to COD. You know what I'm saying? Like COD was my primary game, right? And that somewhat persisted during the PS4 era, but definitely did die down a lot, right? Upon Overwatch releasing, I loved Overwatch for a good year or two there, right? But I haven't played Overwatch in a while, right? But that is still a game that I'm really interested in from Activision, and I'm really interested to see how they do that justice in the sequel and like how Overwatch 2 looks in the future, right? But my main Activision game is of course Call of Duty, right? And you know, like I'm not the biggest COD like fanboy as I was back in the day, right? But I still play COD from time to time. Like I bought Vanguard, you know what I'm saying? I played the Vanguard single player. Really liked the COD single player and everything. And you know, like COD has always been kind of like my like main like huge third party like multiplayer shooter that I still check in and see how the game is from a year-to-year basis, you know what I'm saying? Like I still genuinely like COD, and I still buy the franchise and still play it to this day, right? Like, and I don't play it every day obviously, but I still really enjoy Call of Duty, right? And I enjoy Overwatch and really want to see what comes with that, right? But everything else from Activision I kind of don't really interface with at all. Like I don't care about anything Blizzard besides Overwatch, to be honest with you. And really, like under Activision, like, you know, I did love, of course, which we will definitely talk about here in this. I loved Crash 4. I played through the Crash Bandicoot series, as y'all know here on the channel. I loved Crash 4. I was hoping we would get a Crash 5, right? So that's another one that is technically an Activision property, but now is a Microsoft property. But I did love Crash, right? So that's where I'm at, right? So my main discussion point with Activision in terms of games is definitely Call of Duty, right? And seeing that there is a reality, right, that I think will come to pass. You know, a lot of people are having similar statements like we did last year with Bethesda, right? And I think we all gotta not make that same mistake again as a PlayStation community, right? Like, I firmly believe, and I said this yesterday on Discord, I've been talking about it privately with my homies and all that, like, I do think that Call of Duty will be exclusive to Xbox and be on Game Pass, you know? I'm a little iffy on if Warzone would be, right? I think that's a interesting premise that, you know, we'll see how Warzone does, because like Warzone is treated so differently from Activision as opposed to the main yearly release of Call of Duty, right? Like I feel like those are two definitely separate things that definitely act differently in a lot of different ways. But I do think that one of the games that I really enjoy still and have a deep love for, right, the franchise of Call of Duty, like I do think that I will not be able to play that on my platform of choice here on PlayStation in a year or two. I really believe that, and I think a lot of you guys that are hoping that it remains multi-platform, it's like, you guys, y'all really got to step back, right, and look at Call of Duty is at the top of PlayStation Store charts every year. In the year of 2021, the year that just passed, the top two games that sold on the PlayStation platform are as follows: Call of Duty Vanguard and Black Ops Cold War. Let me repeat that. The top two sold games on the PlayStation platform in the year 2021 were Call of Duty Vanguard and Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. The two latest Call of Duty titles. So, in essence, right, this is one of the biggest blows that we've ever seen done from Microsoft and Xbox in terms of a move, right? Like, they literally took the top two highest selling games in PlayStation's portfolio and bought them. They bought Call of Duty. And there's a lot of people, I've been seeing a lot of people in the timeline in the PlayStation side that have been saying that, oh, this doesn't really matter Activision is not that big of a deal. Call of Duty is not a system. So like, what are you guys talking about? What are we talking about here? I've been seeing a lot of people downplay the severity of them buying Call of Duty, and I think that take is next to wild to me. That is a wild take to me. You know what I'm saying? It's Call of Duty. Do you know how many people play Call of Duty? like, oh my gosh! Like, no, it is a huge dent, and Sony's gonna feel that. Sony's already feeling that. Their stocks are down. Their stocks are down by, I think, like 20%. What is it? Let's look. Cause I've been seeing that too. Let me see. Microsoft deal wipes $20 billion off of Sony's market value in a fucking day. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna really sit here and try to hear out that side of like people saying that, oh, this isn't that big of a deal. This won't hurt. Like Sony won't feel this, right? Like they're gonna feel this, man. This is a big deal. This is a big deal no matter how you cut it, right? KC Ghost says that's fine, and I'm not being salty here, but when it's taken away to be an exclusive, those who play on PlayStation are going to be subtracted from those selling numbers. Overall, it'll hurt PlayStation. Absolutely, I agree. Carlos Rodriguez, he's quoting Paris Lily here. At least single player, but you gotta give it to Paris Lily. You don't spend $68 billion to not have just be on Xbox and PC only. Yeah, no, that's he's right. Last year, I was like, I don't know about that statement that Paris is saying, you know, involving like how the Bethesda deal is gonna go, because my thought was like, yeah, okay, they bought them for $7 billion, right? But why wouldn't you put it on Game Pass and then also sell it on the competitor's platform? That way you get 70% of that revenue, right, back into your business, as well as bolstering Game Pass in the process. Because if you're telling someone, hey, would you rather spend $70 on like Fallout on PlayStation 5, or if you buy the Xbox, you can get it with Game Pass? You know, I thought that's how they were going to do that. And, you know, to be quite frank, that's kind of how it was they did business. But, you know, it's not how they're doing business this generation. You know, Microsoft's really out here doing different things. And the way they are doing this, right? So now we're going to get into a little bit of how I kind of feel about the whole situation, right? Because I'm not, guys, I'm gonna be very vulnerable here. I'm gonna be very honest here. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be very honest here. And you can see these lights behind me. You can check out the content on this channel, and you can lay any bias that I have with PlayStation, and you can lay that on me, and I will take that. I am going to upfront say that yes, I have a bias. You know what I'm saying? I do have a bias, right? My preferred platform is PlayStation, right? My preferred box, my preferred ecosystem is PlayStation, right? So that's number one, right? And number two, also, I'm not losing sleep over this, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, yes, I love COD, but I'll figure out a way to play COD. You know, I'll figure that, or I just dip out and I just never come back. Who knows? I'm crying listening to a Death Stranding song. Was good, Mr. Sin. Slappy Chop was good, homie. Coming into the stream here says, I still can't wrap my head around COD releasing on Game Pass. Games that would never drop more than $20 in price will be on Game Pass. Damn, it's very true. It's gonna happen. Okay, look. Honestly, guys, look. Here's how I feel about it, right? Why is my camera unfocused? Hello? There it goes. All right. Honestly, this one hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like this one sucks. This acquisition sucks. You know, I from a personal Kevin standpoint, I'm you know, I'm pretty sad that this went down, right? And a part of it is like, yeah, you know, of course, I would love to play the games I enjoy on my platform of choice, right? But here's what I really want to boil down to you guys, right? And like, here's the real message that I can't help but feel, and that I think a lot of people are feeling, right? The Xbox One generation was really bad. You know what I'm saying? As you all know, we were running with the, at the time, fact. It was a fact, okay? The Xbox has no games. And by me, and what that sentence means in its nature, because it's not like a literal sentence, right? Like, it's not like Xbox One did not have games. Yes, they had some games, right? But they didn't have games that were enticing enough to go and buy an Xbox for. They didn't have any games that were from original developers from their studios to show what they can do and to entice me into buying into their first party, in the same vein that although as a kid my parents bought me a PS2 and bought me a PSP and bought me a PS3, right? And like, even though that was my only avenue of choice, right? When it came time for PS4 generation, right, I could have switched over. I could have got an Xbox, you know, but there was no titles that were really enticing me. The only titles that are really enticing me on the Xbox side at this current point is like Halo would be cool to play through. You know what I'm saying? I hear a lot of good things, obviously. Maybe Gears, right? Like that, you know, 2 shooters right there. I'm down for that. And right now, currently, you know, if we're bringing in the new acquisitions in, right, we have Indiana Jones. I'm very, 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 very interested in playing. We have Doom, of course, which I love, from Bethesda. Wolfenstein, right? And now, of course, now they have fucking Call of Duty. You know what I'm saying? A series that I have a lot of love for, right? But here's what it is, right? So during the Xbox One generation, they failed, especially in the middle and the end half of that generation, to properly entice me with their original games to get into this ecosystem. You know what I'm saying? So with them going into the series generation and this generation, I'm like, all right, they bought Bethesda, you know, let's see what games they're gonna make. They have Phil Spencer. They're lining up their troops, and they're gonna double down on the platform and really, you know, hopefully put out quality games that would entice me, that would make me go, damn, I gotta play that, you know, like I have to go play that, right? We're still not at that point. We're not. At least I'm not. I don't feel like really enticed to go out and get an Xbox. And the problem is that I feel like Xbox is not yet. I won't rule out that they will in the future. I hope they will. I really, really, really hope they will, right? But as of right now, right, what the plan of attack for them is to buy other publishers and use their money, right, that they have every right to do. They have every right to do business. You know, this is the business that they play. This is how they want to do business. This is how they gotta do business. You know, I'm not even really hating on the method of it, but I am gonna scrutinize like how the method is projecting to me, right? So they bought Bethesda, right? So it's like, damn, okay, so if I want to play a game that I have an established love for, right, which was Wolfenstein and Doom, right? Those were my 2 big things, on top of the newly announced Machine Games Indiana Jones game, which that sounds fire as hell. You know what I'm saying? So mainly separating Indiana Jones, because that's more of what I'm looking for, right? The more organic IP that they're going to be able to establish and grow, right? They took Wolfenstein and Doom off the board, right? And it's like, all right, if you want to play that, you have to buy in. It's like, okay, all right, I understand that, right? But now they did it again. They did it again, and they did it on a much bigger scale, where they took Call of Duty. They took fucking Crash Bandicoot. They took fucking Spyro, right? All of these IP that have an attached fan base and a love for them, and quite, yeah, and I don't know how else you cut that. They took those games away, and now it's like, listen, if you want to experience these ever again, you're gonna have to buy in, And it's like, at that point, it's like, I don't feel enticed. It's a brute force type of mentality, where it's like, I just don't know if that's a good way of going by it, because I've been seeing a lot of people say that, oh, PlayStation was acquiring all year. They were acquiring studios all year. What's the difference between PlayStation acquisitions and Xbox acquisitions? And that, I'm just like, yo, bro, they are not the same. If you think they're the same, you're insane. Or you're just not seeing the full picture, right? Because what does PlayStation do, right? Everyone knows, or if you don't know, I'll explain it. You know what I'm saying? Everyone knows that usually PlayStation establishes a relationship with a smaller team, and they invest in them, right? Housemarque, Insomniac Games, Sucker Punch Games, etc., etc., etc. We can go on and on. There are so many examples of this, right? Where they invest in a smaller team, right? Properly grow them, fund their IP. You know what I'm saying? Fund their development, so they don't have to worry about how good or bad the game does upon launch. They're able to live beyond that, and then a few years down the road, if it all seems right, if the cultures have meshed, if they've done a good job under PlayStation and they've proven their worth, whatever, they get purchased and they become first party. Sony has never. And I implore someone to go and look, right? Like maybe something back before my time, like maybe somewhere back before PS2 or like PS1 that, perhaps could be a thing that I'm not referencing here, but lately, right? PS4, PS5 generation, and I'll say back end of PS3, right? I don't believe there has been a case where Sony has taken a major developer and bought them for the PlayStation platform. Oh shit! Damn. Sorry about that, guys. My bad. My knee merely rocked this desk. That looked like an earthquake in the. that looked like a whole earthquake in the damn stream. But that's the difference. That's the difference. Where I would have loved to see, Xbox like announce, and they have done new studios in the past, right? PlayStation has done this with Final Fantasy, not Avengers dev, but how big that series is relevant. Okay, there's one. Cool. And how long ago was that? That was what, 97, right? That was what, 97? When the Final Fantasy thing came on and they needed the CD-ROM for the PS1. Final Fantasy has been multi-plat. I think it meant multi-plat since mid-aughts until 7 Remake. Sony has always kept games from Xbox players. I'm just reading what y'all are saying here. Except this battle is bad for inlands that like COD is exclusive. I personally big series that relevant. I wonder if Sony's looking at Epic. No, I don't think Sony should buy anyone. I don't think they should, and I don't think they could. I just don't think that taking a major third party is healthy. Like, I don't think that's right. You know what I'm saying? Like I would not have done that. I would have I would love to see Sony respond to this and be like, hey, announce like another round of investments that that they did last year, right? Where it's like, hey, like we're investing. I think last year it was like around 100 million or something like that. It was like 100 million dollars into first party development. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I want them to compete. I don't want them to buy Square. I don't want them to buy Capcom. Mark my words. Mark my words, ladies and gentlemen. If Sony did this, I would not be happy about it. I don't think that would be a good move. Let me be very clear here. If Sony announces they're doing something dumb and buying Square Enix tomorrow, I would not be happy about that. I don't think that'd be a good thing. You know what I'm saying? I do not think that would be a good thing. Mark my words. You know what I'm saying? MLB's whole thing, yeah. was MLB's decision to move to get MLB on Game Pass, and that wasn't a Sony thing. Like that just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest. All last gen was Xbox has no games. Microsoft decided to use their fuck you money and put that. Yeah, no, I am with you on that. I got much respect for what they're doing, even though I just don't know if that was you know what I'm saying? I can't help but be like, you know what I'm saying? Like yeah, they did that. You know, they like they have every right to use their money the way they will. You know what I'm saying? But I just like, as me, just like boiling it down, I would have loved to just see more of new games that, and yeah, okay, they're coming, right? But like, I just want to feel enticed to get into that ecosystem. You know what I'm saying? Like with their first party offerings. You know what I'm saying? And right now it's more like, oh, they're buying established IP just to have it and just to bolster Game Pass, right? I also don't think it matters that this is Xbox's strategy. It's so far allowed Double Fine to exist, and Bethesda doesn't need to fuck with 76 Youngblood type games anymore. Plus, in that case of Double Fine / Bethesda, they have a long-standing relationship with Microsoft for console development more than they do with PlayStation. I hear that. But I think, Christian, like, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Where it's like, Sony has never done a move like buy a major third party. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know exactly what I'm saying. And like, I know there are different caveats that like don't fit that, but I just don't think it's I just think it's such a dangerous precedence. You know what I'm saying? That we'll I just don't know about this guy. It's like I don't know, man. I don't know. And like can we at least see like how they handle Bethesda? Like that isn't even like fully something that like we've seen come into fruition. Like do we, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel you. I hear what you're saying, but like damn, can you know what I'm saying? Like they that's just how it is. Like at a certain point, right? It's like I like fine. Fuck, I'll fucking get Game Pass to play games that I already loved on PlayStation, but they're not gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn. All right, fine. I'll fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, it feels like a twist of the shoulder. You know, it feels like a brute force thing where it's like I would have loved to see, I don't know, them do more original stuff. You know, I don't know why everyone acts like we don't know what Starfield is. Also, they've said that's. I agree with. Can we see Starfield? Can we see Starfield? I don't think it's like insane that you. I don't think it's bad that you're hyped for Starfield, right? Like, I don't think it's bad that like anyone's hyped for Starfield, but can we see it? Can we at least see it first? You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at. Where, you know, is locking down Spider-Man and Final Fantasy not brute forcing? No, I don't think so. Cause how much did Final Fantasy sell on Xbox platforms before 7 Remake? You know what I'm saying? And Spider-Man, they've had those rights way before like Spider-Man PS4. You know, that was something from like way in the late 90s when Marvel was going bankrupt. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I can't wait to see what Raven and High Moon do under Phil Spencer's leadership. I am too. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know if locking Spider-Man in Avengers is a bad thing for. Nah. Okay. Well, Mr. Yasman, that I was definitely against too. Where I don't think Sony should have locked down Spider-Man for Avengers. I was very vocal on that. Like, yo, like that like feels weird. You know, like for a third-party game, right, to like have an exclusive character, like I thought that was kind of weird, and like I didn't love that choice. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if locking. Oh wait, no, I read that. They forget Sony is a movie company too. I'm hoping Microsoft throws their whole bank account at COD Warzone. Love the game, but it's in dire need of help. Yeah, it's in dire need of help right now, just because there's so many people on strike and all that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I think that game's in dire straits. Not necessarily just because like it's inherently a bad product. You know what I'm saying? Like I just think right now like they don't have a lot of support right now in terms of the movement that's happening within Activision, right? Yeah. So that's that. Like I don't know. It just like at like a certain point, it's like I don't know if like I don't know if we're all like really seeing the full like Spider-Man games were on Xbox before Spider-Man PS4. The licensing for Spider-Man in video games used to be owned by Activision. Sony Bob. Oh, okay, cool. All right. Then I stand corrected. On that front, I stand corrected. That's fine. I stand corrected on that front. Final Fantasy has a long history with PlayStation. Yeah. Oh shit, that's Cameron Hawkins. What's good, homie? Yeah, like that's where I'm at. Where like I don't know if you can point to like any PlayStation acquisition and say like, oh, that has a massive Xbox thing, right? You know what? I can't think of one. The KOTOR remake. KOTOR remake, I will give you. That feels like the most. That feels very much an equal to this. That I will give you. Yes, KOTOR remake. I will put that. Yeah, I give it that. But also Spider-Man rights with PlayStation did start with PS4 Spidey because a lot of previous Spider-Man games were multi-plat. Yeah. That I will stand corrected on that. Yeah, both you and Christian lined me on that, so I will. Yeah, that. My bad. I didn't know like the full like I knew those Spider-Man games were like multi-platform. I didn't realize that like those rights were bought closer to Spider-Man PS4 in terms of in terms of that. I thought those were rights that were bought in the late 90s with the bankruptcy. So that I'll stand corrected on for sure. I was gonna say Sunset Overdrive. I mean, yeah, like I guess, but we haven't seen Sony use the Sunset Overdrive IP really. You know what I'm saying? And like I don't think there's any signs that they would continue that on PlayStation. You know, I think their focus is on like Marvel projects, whether it be Spider-Man and Wolverine, and then also Ratchet and Clank and whatever else they're doing. Like it like stands to see if they're really gonna use the Sunset Overdrive IP in the future. You know what I'm saying? Final Fantasy 13 coming to 360 was groundbreaking. Also, the expectation through 15 was everywhere now. Also, if I'm not mistaken, KOTOR remake is time exclusive. Yeah, I think it's time with PC though. But still, like I'll take that where like, you know, Sony getting that a KOTOR remake, like I would put that as like okay, like that's an example of it, you know, doing on this side. But locking out Spider-Man, Final Fantasy, despite history, and KOTOR, which it was an Xbox exclusive, is relevant here. Yeah, I said that. I said KOTOR is relevant here for sure. Like I feel you, Christian, but like, and like I know I'm a new Final Fantasy fan, so I can't really talk from like a really informed opinion on like Final Fantasy, but Brute. Okay, so this is like they bought Activision. They bought Activision and paid 42% above their market share. And the year before that, they bought Bethesda Games for another very high. Like, I think there's definitely a difference here. I think there's some differences. Like, I don't know if you know, the brute force that Sony has that Sony has applied is equatable to the brute force that Microsoft is exhibiting. Maybe I'm crazy about that. Once again, you can look at the lights behind me. You can look at the content on the channel. Yes, I have a bias. But I think really, if you look at it all, you know, I think you really can say, okay, Microsoft taking a major third party off the board and paying 42% over the market share of that is the biggest move we've ever seen. You know, I don't know what the equivalent of that would be. Like, is like KOTOR, Spider-Man, and what was the other one? Final Fantasy. Like, are those really the same caliber, right? Like, are those really the same caliber? You know what I'm saying? Basically, every major third-party exclusive for PlayStation this gen is time exclusivity. That's a correct statement. I think the ones we talked about for PlayStation equate Bethesda is all I mean. I think the ones we talked about for PlayStation equate Bethesda. I mean, okay. Microsoft bought a major fucking like they bought Activision. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a difference here. You know what I'm saying? Like we can go back and forth, but there is a clear difference between making some timed exclusive deals, right, versus buying an entire fucking third party and wiping that off the board from the competitors. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, sure, there's no guarantee that COD will become exclusive. Let's be fucking real here, guys. Let's not. I don't want to have the same conversation we did last year. I don't want to have the same conversation about going that back and forth about, oh, are Bethesda games gonna be exclusive? Let's cut that right now. Let's stop it now. I think it's better to just expect the most calamitous outcome as opposed to being hopeful, to be honest at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, bottom line, I'll repeat what Parasilly has been saying and what we all should have heard last year, but a lot of us were kind of like, I don't know about that. Let's wait and see. I think 100% this year's COD is going to PlayStation. I think there's a shot that next year's COD is going to PlayStation, but I'm not sure with the deal ending like June 2023. Is there something where if the game is in development for PlayStation, does it still have to come out even though the deal dropped? You know what I'm saying? Like does it become like a Ghostwire Tokyo and what's the name? Oh my god, what's the other game I just played? Shit. Deathloop. Like does it become that scenario where they still come out exclusively on PlayStation, right? That's different because that's exclusivity. It's not like a third party thing where we're releasing on platforms. So next year's COD, we'll put a question mark, but that one I could see honestly going either way, right? But beyond that, I don't think COD is on PlayStation. Because why wouldn't you? Because look. If your plan, right, is to bolster Game Pass, why wouldn't you make the biggest game in North America and like the one of the biggest games in the world? You own it. You own it. Why wouldn't you put that on Game Pass and Xbox by itself? Call of Duty isn't Elder Scrolls though. It's bigger. It's Minecraft levels. Wait, what is that referencing? Cameron Hawkins, I'm with you. I'm agreeing with you. Yeah, Cam. Yeah, no, Cam. Like I knew. Yeah, no, like I wasn't like directly talking to you, Cam. No, we're good. But, yeah, like, and once again, like I'm not necessarily like saying that like Microsoft's like a bad company or whatever. Like they, like I said at the top, they can do business the way they want to. You know what I'm saying? Like they have that money. Is that the Leviathan axe behind you? Oh hell yeah, it is. Hell yeah, it is. Have y'all seen this joint? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You know what I'm saying? But I think there's a clear difference of, if we're looking at the moves that Sony and Microsoft have been making and like which one's more brute force, I think it's like Microsoft like shoved Sony down like a flight of stairs yesterday, as opposed to like dropping a banana peel behind them with some time exclusives. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I think there's a huge difference between buying a major third party completely and signing sometimes exclusivity deals. Because last time I checked, like does Sony own Final Fantasy? Does Sony own KOTOR? Or do they have second party deals with them? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and yeah. And definitely like I have obviously like a lot more time with Activision than Bethesda, so I just found it like interesting, right? Last year with the Bethesda thing and everything, but I wasn't like, oh man, like yeah, like it I was bummed out to like think like, oh damn, like, you know, Wolfenstein and Doom aren't coming to PlayStation, right? But like COD is, you know, COD's a game I enjoy. COD is a game I really like. I play every year, you know, not as aggressive as a tie I used to have with the series, of course, but that's still a game that I look for it and I still, you know, care about and everything. PlayStation is assisting on KOTOR development. I don't know if that impacts anything. Okay, but they don't own KOTOR. They don't own KOTOR. They don't own Final Fantasy. Microsoft owns Call of Duty. What? Like, what are we talking about, bro? There are clearly two different pressures of brute force, and one is overwhelmingly more than the other. Come on now. COD is the only moneymaker and will remain multi-plat now compared to... No, now compare this to, let's say, Sony buys or deals with Square Enix for exclusivity. This deal was a waste. I don't want Sony to do that, though. Like, I don't think that'd be... I don't, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know. I don't think they should go out, because really it's like what is the equivalent to like an Activision, like EA, Take-Two? Like Sony's not buying EA or Take-Two. You know what I'm saying? Also, Jay Shack, I was saying, do you think Xbox might buy another publisher again next year? Fucking probably. Probably. If I was Sony, I would be going to everybody and be like, listen, there was a war, okay? Like, there was a war going on. There is someone there is an entity with a lot of money that is out there scooping y'all up, right? You know what I'm saying? Like if I was Sony, I'd be touching bases with the homies at every third party and be like, listen, man, look, can we talk for a second? Okay, can we talk? Can we just talk? Okay, maybe that's insider trading. I don't know. Maybe that's illegal. I don't know. But it's looking spooky out here. That's what I'm saying. Minecraft and COD are on a level above Elder Scrolls and Fallout. Maybe at worst, PlayStation only gets Warzone. Nah. like I get that that's a hopeful outcome, right? And I get the difference of what you're saying with like, yes, Fallout is not COD, right? Elder Scrolls is not COD, right? Like there's that top echelon, right, of like Madden, of like 2K, of like COD, you know, of like where essentially the games that our friends play that aren't super into COD, right? They primarily play. I know that echelon is a lot different, right? Minecraft's on that tier, right? Like I know that is a lot different than a Fallout, than an Elder Scrolls. I understand those two calibers of games, right? But why not? You know, why not? You know, like why not just make it exclusive? Square won't sell. I agree. I don't think oof, man. Yeah, I just would not want to see Sony try and buy Square. I just don't think that. I don't know, because I just no, like I don't think we should. I don't think this game should continue where we're just scooping up all the third party in the room. You know, like I don't know if that should be a thing. You know, like Sony's plan of acquisitions, like to me has always made sense. I mean, okay, cool. They have a long-term relationship. Boom, they buy in the future. But like, that's with smaller teams, right? Like, I think we can all sit here and agree that like Square Enix is not Housemarque, right? Square Enix does not equal Insomniac, does not equal Sucker Punch. You know what I'm saying? Like, etc. does not equal Fire Sprite Games, right? I think there's a clear difference from that. And yeah, I just, you know, I don't know. Warzone staying everywhere makes sense. I could see normal multiplayer and campaign be exclusive. That's still an insane reality, Christian. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's still a crazy reality that is gonna happen. If Sony does anything bigger than 2021 moves, it will be buying Konami's IP compared to this, and that's like dropping a penny in the ocean. If Sony does anything bigger than their 2021 moves, it will be buying Konami's IP. And compared to this, that's like dropping a penny. There is no throw. Like there is no one move that Sony could do that overrides this. This is like landscape gaming shaking. Like this has changed the landscape of gaming like forever. You know what I'm saying? In a much bigger way than Bethesda did. Like Activision has so many other things that aren't COD and Overwatch, like Warcraft, Starcraft. On top of that, to add salt to the wound, you hate to see it. Obviously, like this wasn't a direct purchase from Sony. Sony, I'm not sure if like Activision bought the rights to Crash and Spyro. That's probably what happened with Crash and Spyro. But Crash and Spyro are now Microsoft IPs. That's wild, you know. But granted, like I know they didn't buy them straight from PlayStation. Like they technically weren't PlayStation for a while there in between. It's still insane, yeah, but COD will still exist beyond Xbox and PC, even if it's just Warzone, is what I mean. You see, maybe because I don't care about Warzone, right? Where my opinion is like Call of Duty to me is still the campaign and still the multiplayer. I know I know that breed of COD fan is dying. You know, I know we you know, there's not a lot of us out there that really appreciate the you know traditional release of Call of Duty, right? But to me, that's still COD. You know what I'm saying? Like, period. Yeah, you're also buying the two biggest JRPG IPs and then having Kingdom Hearts on top of that. Like, if Sony were to buy Square, also with Activision, most of the IP Xbox acquiring are dead and wouldn't have had any new titles in under them. Okay. Wait, also with Activision, most of the IP Xbox acquiring are dead and wouldn't have had any new titles in them under Activision Blizzard. I mean, yeah, that's like great for gaming as a whole, but like, is that they're not coming to PlayStation? Like, maybe that's just the like salty like PlayStation fan inside of me that's like talking, but like, I mean, that's okay. Okay. Are you trying to say that like buying Activision isn't that big of a deal because a lot of their IP are dead? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I dislike the most, bro. Microsoft will kill Crash and Spyro. We'll see. I would love a Crash 5, you know. I would love a Crash 5, you know. I would play that joint, period. I would play that. I'd be really interested to see if I want to see how they restructure Activision, right? Like, do we all really think that Microsoft is going to touch the money machine that Call of Duty is right now in favor of making other games? Like, do we think that's something that they'll actually do? I don't think that's such of a sure thing to say, right? Like, I don't know if it's a sure thing that like they're gonna revive Toys for Bob or Vicarious Visions. Like, I don't know, bro. I don't know if that's such a. I don't know. I'm the same way with COD. What do you mean, Cameron? What do you mean? Yeah, if they bought Square. Okay, I see. Yeah. COD did fine without Toys for Bob. They can do it again. No, but the level they are at now had not like was not attainable without the force that they put into Call of Duty and the focus that they put into Call of Duty. You know what I'm saying? You know Call of Duty makes a ton every year and they're still top charts. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I'm not so sure if they'll touch that. We'll see. In the same way that you're very hopeful that COD will exist outside of the bounds of Xbox and Game Pass, like, I'm not so sure that COD is gonna change drastically. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong about that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I think COD makes a little bit too much money for them to even kind of like really mess with that. You know? I'm not quite sure on that. Plus, COD can get assets from other Xbox studios like it. Okay. Like, I know Square is worth $5 billion in a market standpoint, but I think Square knows their worth and it's more than $5 billion. Yeah, I don't think Square should. Like, I think you're right on that, Cam. Where like, I don't know if Square is sellable, right? Like, yeah. I see that for sure. I see that. Phil Spencer is letting Double Fine do what they want, so they could let Raven and Toys for Bob do theirs. Again, like, I feel that the problem is that Double Fine wasn't making Call of Duty the biggest game, one of the biggest games in the world, is all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So I would just say like, yo, in the same way that, hey, if we're gonna sit here and be hopeful about COD existing on other platforms besides Xbox and Game Pass, you know, if y'all can be hopeful about that, I don't know if that same hope can be applied to what they'll do to COD, because COD is such a big money maker. I don't know if they want to rock the boat with that. I don't know. You know, what is Toys Pop doing for Call of Duty is nothing massive. They're supporting Warzone, one of the biggest battle royales in the. What are you talking about? They're supporting Warzone, the biggest battle royale on the market right now. They made $1.2 billion on microtransactions in out of 3 months last year. What do you mean? What is Toys for Bob doing? Come on, Christian. Come on, man. Come on, dog. Come on, bro. Come on, man. It's Call of Duty. It's Call of Duty. I don't know if they want to rock that boat with that money maker. You know what I'm saying? And Warzone existed when they were making Crash 4 and Spyro. I understand that. But now that they are in there, do they want to rock the boat and take them out? I'm not so sure. I'm not sure. I could see the advantages of doing that, and I could see a reality of them doing that, but I could also see their hesitation on like really wanting to change or rock the boat of COD in any shape, form, or fashion that could lead to a decline in fiscal gains, you know, and like fiscal earnings from that property. I'm not so sure. I'm just not so sure, you know? Like, we're not talking about any random game or random IP. Like we're talking about Call of Duty and Warzone. You know what I'm saying? Like, those should always be viewed in a very different manner than everything else. Better, yeah. Number one, okay, we should honestly live with that. We're like an hour in, and we should live with that. Obviously, it's a great thing that hopefully, and I would say pretty likely that, like, I would like to assume that a lot of the harassment that's been persisting behind the scenes is likely going to be cleared up. And not even likely, I'm sure it will, right? I think Phil's made it very clear that, like, he will not tolerate that, and I think there will be a level of just better treatment overall, right? So that's always a positive. That's always a plus. There's nothing, obviously there's nothing wrong with that, duh. But now that they're in there, what changed? Didn't COD underperform last year? They don't spend all that money to not change things. Yeah, did Warzone underperform last year? And yeah, COD underperforming, sure, they're still the #1 game. Once again, Vanguard was still the highest selling game on PlayStation platforms. Right under, oh yeah, wait, what was that? What was the second game? Oh yeah, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War? The COD that came out, what was that? The year, oh, right before Vanguard. Okay, right, okay, so they're still the top two, huh? Okay, interesting. I wonder why, you know? Such an anomaly, you know? I wonder why. You know? I'm not saying they wouldn't have done that without Toys for Bob, right? I'm not saying like Toys for Bob, but like the fact of the matter is Toys for Bob, listen, it's like, how I put this? There, I was about to make a really dumb comparison. Let me not say that. What is this like? Once you win it, you're in it. You know what I'm saying? And like, I don't know if, I'm just not sure if Microsoft is gonna want to really mess with COD to an extreme level. You know, I'm sure we will see changes. I'm not saying that it's gonna stay the complete same from COD as a franchise, right? I'm sure in some ways it'll be better. I'm sure there's like Cam said somewhere in the chat, I forgot to shout out, but like I'm sure the campaigns are gonna be interesting, even though I liked Vanguard's campaign, but like I'm sure they're gonna treat the campaign in a much deeper way that I can definitely see them doing, and like that is gonna be a clear positive. But like from the Warzone and like multiplayer perspective, like I don't know if they want to rock that boat if it's bringing in all that money. You know what I'm saying? What I hope happens is that Xbox establishes a studio that focuses specifically on Warzone, and Raven and Toys for Bob can go back to making other games. Yeah, that'd be cool. I can see that. I'm just a little hesitant on like seeing if that actually happens. You know, we'll see. But I can see it. Microsoft is one of the biggest companies in the world. Since most people use Windows, plus they have a government contract. If they go for EA, then that when we have to worry about merger with Nintendo. Damn, Kev, don't answer that. Dude, y'all should have seen. Yo, I'm happy I didn't stream yesterday. Yesterday I was on a whole different beat. You know what I'm saying? I really had to step back for a little bit and assess the situation. You know, I had to step back a little bit. You know, like I had to step back, but now you know, we're good. Like, I do feel that like this is still a huge blow, right? Like there's no way that you can say it's not. You know, like it's a huge blow, and like I just don't think I just would not want to see PlayStation like counteract with like trying to buy Square or like trying to buy Sega or Capcom or something like that. I don't know if they can buy slash it's pretty. I feel like it's pretty safe to say that I don't think they have the facilities, big man. I don't think they have the facilities to buy a Take-Two or buy a EA, right? Or buy a Ubisoft, right? But I would just love to see PlayStation still like it's gonna be like there could be a reality where like PlayStation and Nintendo are very similar in terms of like their bread and butter for the most part is first party, right? And like not that hasn't been on the side of, on and like an aspect that it's not like that hasn't been an advantage that PlayStation hasn't had in the past, because we all know their exclusives are their bread and butter in a lot of different ways, right? But they still have a lot of third-party support, as opposed to Nintendo, who they have more third-party support than like Wii U era for sure, but like it's a bit of a it's still a peg different from like the main console space, right? Like no one's really like looking at Apex Legends on Switch in like a serious way to play Apex Legends or Fortnite, right? Yes, a lot of people play Fortnite on those platforms. I'm not saying that like they're like not legitimate, you know, Apex or Fortnite players, but you know, like you imagine the typical Fortnite player playing on console or PC, right? We don't really think about Switch and third-party support in like a lot of ways, right? Where, yeah, no one will look at you different if you play a third-party game on PlayStation, because that's something that's happened. You know, like that's there, right? What would happen? Oh wait, wait. What would happen? Oh no, I already read that from Cam. My bad. Yes, they do. The good thing with Nintendo third party is partners will make exclusive titles that take advantage of that platform. The good thing with Nintendo third party is partners will make exclusive titles that take advantage of that platform. Okay. Now, what we're wondering at this point, who's getting big cut slice? What you mean? They owned Candy Crush that bought 400 million last year? Yeah, now they do. Yeah. That's King, right? Candy Crush is King? Yeah, I mean, King was bought by Activision like last week or some shit like that. Like really recent Candy Crush. Yeah, that's King, right? Let me just double check. Yeah. It's King. Yeah, it's King. Yeah, it's King. I have a Switch too, and it's not the best place to play Apex and Fortnite. You can use motion controls, which is an advantage with games like Spellbreak, but in more demanding games, it's too low spec. Yeah, like I mean, I was just painting the picture. Like, is it gonna be where PlayStation and Nintendo are very similar in that vein, where like most of like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know where it stops. Like, I do think there will be like another acquisition. Like Sega's been rumored for a long time, but like I don't know. I believe this is their foot in the door for Asian market, since Blizzard is such a huge market in Asia. If I was Microsoft, I would merge or buy Nintendo for bigger footprints in Asian market. Well, yes, Blizzard has a lot of games that really do perform well in Asian markets, absolutely. But like I'm pretty sure they're still viewed as an American company, because like Activision bought Blizzard, right? But like I feel what you're saying though. I feel what you're saying for sure. But yes, I felt this about PlayStation for a while. They're becoming Nintendo in a lot of ways, and they want to. Have you touched on what this can mean for Spartacus? No, I haven't. I don't know, because I still don't think that PlayStation would do day and date games. This might be a result of the, yeah, I'm gonna call it, Microsoft definitely did a much bigger and more brute force than Sony has ever done in the past, right? I'm not gonna I'm not looking at there's no comparisons of that. Let's not kid ourselves, right? I just hope like whatever they do, I don't think that Spartacus is going to be altered or changed in huge ways because of this. I don't think that those wheels can turn and change on the dime like that in a lot of ways. Like, the only story that I can think of that kind of reminds me of that is when they allegedly like changed the price of the PS4 during E3, but I don't know. I don't think that we're gonna see like a huge change with Spartacus from what it was on Sunday to what it became on Tuesday, hypothetically, right? Like, I don't think there's a change. I fear, like, okay, I just don't think first party games will be day and date. I don't know, because it's Sony games sell a lot. They sell a lot. We buy them because they're quality. They're great games, period. You know, and people have no problem buying quality products from Sony because you know what you're gonna get, right? They've proven that time and time again. They've proven it for years and years and years now, right? Especially highlighting, of course, the PS4 generation where it really skyrocketed, right? So I don't know if they would want to give up those sales, but then like on top of that, like can they even like that's the big thing here, guys, is that like Game Pass is not profitable. Game Pass can exist in the way it does now because they have Microsoft behind them. You know, Xbox is at the bottom of their financial reports. You know, they're on the literal last pages of their financial reports, right? And like, I'm not talking shit about Xbox, like that's just the facts, right? Like, Game Pass is not profitable yet, and they're able to let Game Pass bleed and let Xbox bleed in order to like they just have the time to grow Game Pass in a different way that Sony does not have the time or the money to let PlayStation bleed. You know, that's the big difference, right? And I fear that something really bad can happen to PlayStation if they don't have those sales, you know? Like, I think that's a big key. I think that's a big part of it. That is the main reason why, like, I don't think we will see first party day and date games releasing on Spartacus. Like, I just don't think so. If Activision back catalog is scooped up, can they get any Activision stuff in Spartacus? Because I don't think so. I don't know, unless some shit. Oh, you know what? I mean, hey, there's some Activision. There's a lot of Activision properties in the PlayStation Plus collection. What happens with that, right? Like, that's a good. There's a lot of Bethesda games too on there. If Activision's back catalog is scooped up, can they get any Activision stuff in Spartacus? Because I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so, because like, how much would that even cost? And like once again, I think this is an undeniable fact that Microsoft did this to bolster Game Pass. Why would you make any further deals that have not been already established for a competitive service on your competitor's platform? You know, I don't know. I don't think so either, Christian. I do not think so. I don't think there will be any whiff of Activision or Blizzard. You know, this is the reason Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard. COD will definitely push Game Pass. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The COD fan base buys COD every year, and they play a lot. They spend a lot there, and they're gonna go wherever COD is. Period. If Spartacus only gets all PlayStation games, that's still a great service depending on price, but it's much more in that Nintendo subscription legacy content than what Game Pass is. I agree. So, I agree. Yeah. Jay Shako, what are you on about, man? I'm not talking about that at all. Just like with PlayStation, Xbox, there are certain games that shouldn't be exclusive. Like example, I gave, like, e.g. What is e.g.? I'm being dumb. I can't read today. And Microsoft wants a next big purchase, maybe acquiring more IP, either go for DC or just Disney. I can see Microsoft buying Disney. I don't know about that, Chief. I don't know about that. Cam Hawkins says, Sony doesn't have the time to bleed like Xbox doesn't have the time to invest in studios like Sony. That is a great statement, Cam. I really agree with that. I really agree with that. I really agree with that. I see what you're saying there, right? Where I really agree with that. That's comment. That's chat of the night. That's it's not nighttime, Kev. That's comment of the stream. Sony does not have the time to make themselves bleed by putting first-party titles on a service that's analogous to Game Pass, right? And doing day-and-day first-party. Sony does not have the time to withstand that bleeding, like Xbox doesn't have the time to invest in studios like Sony does. That's a beautiful statement. And at the end of the day, like, I think we're just gonna be like I really would be intrigued to see like what Sparkus becomes without it being day and day first party games. Like I really want to see like how do both competitors look playing two different games. You know, Sony playing a very traditional sense of, hey, we're gonna offer you high quality first party games at full price. Of course, we're going to entice you with other things of Sparkus. I've said a few ideas where I would love to see, you know, if you have a tier of Spartacus, maybe you get, you know, like game trials, right? Like stuff like that, where it's enough to. I don't know if it'll ever be as enticing as Game Pass. I'll tell you guys that right now. You know, am I gonna buy it? Absolutely. I wonder why I'm gonna buy it. Of course, I'm gonna get Spartacus, right? But I wonder the value proposition that like Spartacus is going to achieve, because I don't think that Sony will ever do. Well, not ever, right? But I don't think right now. I don't think they can just opt out of the game sales that they do. You know what I'm saying? Period. Where's Jim Ryan in this situation? Yo, he's doing something. He's doing something. Technically, Microsoft just disabled crossplay on COD. What do you mean? What you mean? They won't make COD exclusive? What? We'll see. I think they will. I really think they will, guys. Do not repeat the same statements that we did all last year, guys. Look at the reality. Look at what Paris Lilly says. The man is right about this thing right here, about this statement where you don't spend $7 billion to keep Bethesda games coming to PlayStation platforms. You don't spend 68.2 or whatever number it was $billion to keep publishing and releasing Activision games on platforms that are competitors to your own. You know, you just don't do that. You know, yes, there was a reality early on in the Bethesda acquisition days where I thought that, oh, they would still continue to put Bethesda games on PlayStation, because what they would do is they would give players a real look at the situation of like, hey, you can buy Elder Scrolls and buy these Bethesda games on PlayStation platforms, and if you do, we're still gonna get that money, right? Because once again, we own it, right? We can still get that money, right? Or you can pay this monthly fee, join this subscription service with Game Pass, get access to all these other games, all our first-party games, as well as Bethesda games day and date. You know, I thought that was gonna be their way of going about it, but it's clearly not. The game plan is to funnel and flood the Game Pass market. make it as enticing as possible, as quick as possible. You know, that is the game plan. You know, so don't like we gotta stop thinking about last year and trying to get the hopes up that, oh, maybe you know, and yeah, there is something to say about Activision and Bethesda being two completely different tiers of publishers and developers. That's fair. I can understand that, right? Where like the COD IP and the COD brand is a lot bigger than Bethesda. I can understand that. I still think that they own it now. They own Call of Duty. Why wouldn't you make it exclusive? Why wouldn't you? The people will go where COD goes. There was a lot of PlayStation dudes. I said this at the top of the stream. There's been a lot of PlayStation dudes on Twitter trying to downplay COD, trying to say that, oh, it's not a system seller. Look at the charts. The people buy consoles to play COD. The casual market does that. That's what they do. Okay? COD, 2K, GTA, Madden, FIFA. Like that is the tier that Xbox just bought. So why wouldn't you make it exclusive? Why wouldn't you? You know? There's more money to be made with COD everywhere than Skyrim everywhere, though. There's more money to be made. There's also more money to be made and more subscribers to join Game Pass than Skyrim. You can say the same thing. You can say the same thing. And Christian, I would agree with you if they were doing that with Bethesda games, but they're not. We see they're not. You know what I'm saying? I think the logic you had for Bethesda games makes way more sense than COD. They own Minecraft also, which I think is the best-selling game of all time. That's so everywhere. I really think it's on that level. Is Microsoft an annualized franchise? Sorry, is Minecraft an annualized franchise? Is there an annual Minecraft release, or is it an existing game that already exists? I forgot. Can someone let me know in chat? Thank you. But if they did make it exclusive, it would sell consoles. But that's not what their goal is. No, if they made it exclusive, it would be exclusive to Game Pass, and they would get a lot more Game Pass subscribers, because probably at that point it's going to be on smart TVs. It's going to be more readily available. You know what I'm saying? Microsoft gets big yearly. Okay, Christian. Okay, bro. Okay, all right, bro. Come on, man. Do those? Come on, man. You know, oh my God. Do. Come on, bro. Come on, man. They bought Call of Duty. Why wouldn't you make it exclusive? Period. Why wouldn't you? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm wrong about COD being exclusive, I will buy you flowers, Christian. I will buy you flowers, chocolate. I'll take you on a nice date as long as your girlfriend's okay with it. I will take you on a fine date. I will wine and dine you, sir. But nah. Why wouldn't you? You know, why spend nearly $70 billion and still keep it multi-plat? You know, Rockstar next. We'll see. What's good, Eugene Maddox? I think you are. I don't know what that's referring to. Minecraft. I think it will be times. Okay, so you think COD will be a time exclusive? COD and Minecraft have the same amount of pull, is all I'm saying. Minecraft could have been huge as an exclusive, but it makes more money now than ever. I won't deny that they have the same amount of pull, but Minecraft doesn't have an... How much does fucking Minecraft make a year? Let's... How much does Minecraft make it annual? Let's see. So 20... Okay, damn. All right. I may stand corrected. Let's look at these numbers. From Business of Apps, last year they made 415 million. Okay. Okay. Check this out. Let's see. Let's see. All right. So let's see. All right. So Minecraft's their revenue last year, just the base Minecraft, is $415 million last year, and then they stopped. What is this? Yeah, there's a lot of different SKUs in Minecraft. Okay, let's just add it on. Why not? So, let me see. So Pocket Edition 90,000 2018. I want to see 20. This is 400, 600, 600, 730, 730, and then. So in 2020, they made around 1.1 billion. Right? 1.1 billion. Okay. Let's see. Let me write that down. 1.1 billion, right? And then let's look at COD numbers, right? I want to see their revenue for let's see. Okay. Let's see. So Call of Duty's lifetime sales is 27 billion, but that's lifetime. I want to see just from a single year. Let's see. Okay, so Minecraft made 1.1 billion in 2020. That's across mobile, console, and the core PC Minecraft, right? In 2020, and by the way, the Minecraft numbers for 1.1 billion is in 2020 as well, right? For Minecraft, right? I'm reading this headline right now that COD has earned $3 billion in 2020 alone, but Minecraft already existed on other platforms. It isn't equal comparison when new COD games come out every year. Yeah. But Minecraft already existed on other platforms. It isn't equal comparison when new COD games come out every year. Bethesda ain't pulling anywhere near that. The Bethesda IP is a good exclusive draw, but COD and Minecraft are very comparable in terms of how much they make and what their pull is, in my opinion. I think you're underestimating COD, Christian. Like they are in a similar bracket, but like what I would rather have exclusive is definitely COD. I think COD earns. Yeah. I mean, just from 2020, just from quick research, Minecraft at 1.1 billion, and COD did 3 billion. COD top PlayStation sales. Yes. Call of Duty Vanguard is top of 2021 charts, and then Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War is number 2. Yes. Call of Duty tops PlayStation charts, absolutely, by a lot. But yeah. COD on Game Pass is gonna diminish sales. No amount of people signing up for $10 a month is gonna make up for losing $50 on every Game Pass sub. Yeah, but I think Microsoft like really like, I don't think they're gonna care about the sales that they lose on COD if it's bolstering Game Pass to like an obscene amount, where that is a $10 that is not just a one-time thing, right? Like Like your 50, 60, your 50, 60, $70 purchase is a one-time thing, right? As opposed to if they're able to put COD next to new first-party games, other third-party games, Bethesda, etc., right? Like if they're able to keep you in the Game Pass subscription, that is worth. I would assume that is what they really want to happen. You know, like they want to keep those Game Pass numbers up and it's sustainable. I brought up the comparison to back what I wait. I brought up the comparison to back up what I led with Warzone. Warzone is ongoing and exists everywhere. I think Warzone is handled like Minecraft bare minimum, which for a lot of people on PlayStation is probably enough. Losing annual releases is still huge though. It's fucking massive. it's massive. I just, man. I don't know. I like hear your point, Christian. I see it. I think it's a point that I would have had last year for sure. But I think the year that we just went through and the blows that Microsoft is making, I'm just not really that convinced that Warzone is gonna, you know. And I know you're not saying it's facts, right? Like I know you're just making a guess, and like you just feel this way, right? I don't know. I can see them just taking it. I mean, fucking why not? Why not? You know, they own Call of Duty. You know. Yeah, the Activision heads have the Activision heads talked in the same manner as Phil, saying they don't want to hinder other platforms, but they aren't being clear. So I feel that the COD exclusivity is gonna come to be. Yeah, that's Phil is saying the same shit that he said with Bethesda. You know, it's the same like wishy-washy, like not clear. And I know they can't be clear now because the ink's not dry, right? Like this deal is gonna be done in like June 2023, but I just think that like yes, those statements are gonna be made by Phil, right? And and I understand that it's because he cannot bluntly say it yet, right? Or say whatever the real plans, or to give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they don't know fully what it's gonna look like, right? But I don't think we should be fooled. Like I just think that like we should not repeat the same conversations, the same conversations we did last year. Like, oh, maybe this will be still on PlayStation. Oh, maybe this, maybe that. No, like I would rather say no. It's all gonna be exclusive, and then it comes to pass in the future that it comes to PlayStation platforms. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd be more down for that. That's low key what I'm doing, because I think it's a little more likely that they keep it exclusive. Roku, he just woke up. Hi, buddy. I'm gonna grab him in a second. Do you think if PlayStation allowed it, Xbox would put Halo free to play on PS5? We know they want to have Game Pass on there. I don't know. I think I don't know. Do you think if PlayStation allowed it, Xbox would put Halo free to play on PS5? So yeah, we've definitely talked about that, right? I think we both agree on like if there were a crazy reality where Game Pass ends up on PlayStation, it would be a very like neutered Game Pass where it only consists of first party Microsoft stuff, right? And then when it contained third party stuff that is on Game Pass, that's just too much to even. I don't know, bro. That feels like a lot. I don't know, bro. I don't know. Roku, come here. Roku, come here, Papa. Roku, how do you feel about Microsoft buying Activision? What are your thoughts? What is your insight, good sir? Are you worried that you won't be able to play Call of Duty on your PlayStation? if they want Halo and Game Pass on there, but PlayStation won't allow it, then now they have a foot in the door. Xbox can get COD on there because there's no way PlayStation is okay with losing COD. Do you think Xbox wants Sony to? Do you think Xbox wants Sony to put their Game Pass on PlayStation? Will that be a win to lose competition? That's how Xbox gets a service on PlayStation. If they do that, the talk about Xbox buying PlayStation will be true. No, Xbox is not buying PlayStation. Right? I agree, sir. I agree. Cat Mike. We're gonna get Roku's thoughts on all this. Or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe he wants to. Okay. Bye, bud. Man's is just chilling. If they want Halo and Game Pass on there, but PlayStation won't allow it, then now they have a foot in the door. Xbox can get COD on there because there's no way PlayStation is okay with losing COD. This is a complicated situation, but as it is right now, in the moment as we speak, PlayStation in the lead in terms of games. Oh yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, it's not like the tides have changed overnight. It's just there is an impending cloud coming in, right? That like we're gonna have to deal with. You know what I'm saying? That like PlayStation is gonna have to deal with, and I think they should be looking at, for sure, right? Like, there are some markets out there where where PS5 is outselling Xbox 2-1, right? It's not that Sony is losing right now, right? In fact, PlayStation makes more revenue off of gaming than Xbox does, still to this day. You know, so it's not like we're in a like dire situation right now, but I just fear for what the future looks like, you know. Cat has spoken. Roku has spoken. Roku, thank you for giving us your beautiful insight on this whole dilemma. You know what I'm saying? 7% drop in Sony stocks. Yep, we did talk about that. Where that is a bit of a that is a more like immediate thing that we're seeing in terms of effects, right? With Sony stock definitely going down. Yeah, like it is a massive blow. Like that's what, like, yes, like I don't think Sony is like in a dire situation right now. I think they're in a situation where they are going to have to assess what they do in the future and like how they do respond to this. You know what I'm saying? I do feel that way. Like I do think that like they are going to have to sit down and really deal with this in a very real way of like, what does PlayStation look like without, not only without Bethesda games, but like without Call of Duty, you know? Like how does that get alleviated? How does that get alleviated? What's going to happen, you know? And of course there's, you know, there is like and it's not like because they don't have COD, right? That doesn't mean that they don't have their first party. The first party still exists. You know what I'm saying? Like the first party is still there, and that's still the biggest asset that PlayStation does have, is that first party no matter what, and you cannot take that away. You know what I'm saying? Like those are there, and they will continue to deliver high quality games, period. You know what I'm saying? And like that's still intact, regardless of not having COD and regardless of not having Bethesda. But a huge dent has been made. You know, a huge dent has been made. You know, which is what Nintendo had to do a long time ago. They aren't the exact same, but the appeal of both is the first party exclusives. I think all they can do to respond is double down on their narrative. Go the contenders. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to see them buy or even attempt to buy a big third party. Like I just don't want that game being played over here on this side. And mark my words, Mark my words. If it comes to pass, I will not really. That would not be a good thing to me. You know. That would not be a good thing. You know. It's a gut punch, but it isn't gonna do much, to be honest. Unless if they make a really good COD. Right now, we know PlayStation had multiplayer shooters in the works. The thing is like, even on COD's worst year, right? Even on like the worst year of COD, they're still topping charts, bro. They're still selling. PlayStation's gonna feel that. But PlayStation's definitely gonna feel that, you know? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a huge deal. But Microsoft has laid a huge haymaker on Sony. A huge haymaker. A giant one. You know what I'm saying? And it's also some shit that, you know, like, I don't know how this is gonna play out from a industry perspective, right? Why are you now? Roku, why are you meowing? Well, why are you being so loud? I know you have thoughts about the acquisition. You know what I'm saying, Roku? The strategy will be what it's been for PlayStation. I think the only move is scooping more well-known IP like Metal Gear or Castlevania to add to their lineup. Yeah, buying Square makes no sense if they already got a ton of exclusive deals. I wonder if Sony will just try and get acquired more Japanese developers and double down on that part of the market, since it's already the home of so many JRPGs. Could totally see them buying Capcom. You think they will stop the yearly drop of COD at this point? What do you think, Roku? Do you think they'll stop annualizing COD? Roku. Do I think they'll stop annualizing COD? That kind of plays into my hesitation of like, do they really want to rock the boat on the Call of Duty machine that it is right now? You know, that's my only thing. Where it's like, I can see them focusing a lot more on single player. We've talked about that. Cam Hawkins said that in the chat for sure, and I could definitely see that. But I just don't know how much they want to rock the boat of the money machine that is COD. Like, I'm leaning on it'll still be an annual franchise. You know, exactly. Thank you, Irish Xbox Gaming. What it do? Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, why stop? Why? You know? Why? Why? Like, you know? Like, I get the point of, like, it could be a better product if it's not annualized. Totally see that. Totally agree with that notion as well. But it's making money. A lot of money every year as an annualized franchise. So why stop? Why stop? That notion does not make dollar sense. Period. It doesn't. At all. Doesn't make sense. You know? It just simply doesn't make sense. You know? Like, at a certain point, it's like, what's like, yes, like, it's shocking to believe games come out that aren't as great as what it could be for the sake of fiscal gain. That is a fact, you know? To focus on more nuanced and targeted games, Warzone will be their yearly product. But why do that if they can still sell COD annually? You know? If you mean they'll have more nuanced targeted games annually, then sure. You know, the like question was like, will they still do a annual drop of COD, right? Guys, they're doing it right now. Warzone is still something that is free to play. That is free to play, and they still do an annualized COD, and they still sell the annualized COD and make money off that. A lot of money off that every year. Like, there's not a lot different than what you just said, Carlos, than what's happening right now. Really. Like, what's really the difference of that? If they have a targeted, nuanced game every year along with Warzone, right? what's really the difference with that? You know, I think at most they'll stop for a year to just recover their direction for it. Sure, yeah, I mean, all right, I guess, but like, just even at that point, it's like, why stop? Why stop? At at the end of the day, they're companies, right? And they exist to make money. If the money's coming in, why stop? Why stop? You know? If I'm wrong, I'll admit it. Trust me, I'll admit it. Would you continue the multiplayer on each title or just focus on story and Warzone? Interesting. Like me, I'm just biased because I just don't like Warzone that much. You know what I'm saying? But like I do understand that like the vast majority of like COD fans that like multiplayer are on Warzone, and like that's just what it is now. And like that's just a crowd that like I'm just not a part of. You know, so. I understand that like when I talk about COD, I'm from a little bit of a different perspective, right? But would I continue the multiplayer? I personally would. Personally, I would. You know, and I could even see a thing, you know, where you know, like somehow they create and build out the competitive multiplayer, like team-based stuff in the. You have something to say? Hello? No, he's good. It's also Xbox strategy now, not Activision. So you don't think it would be advantageous of Xbox to have a new Call of Duty release every year on Game Pass every November? That's not advantageous for them? You think that them buying an IP that is already rooted in an annualized franchise schedule that makes money every single year and it's almost guaranteed printing money, you don't think it would be advantageous for them to put out a COD project every year and have it debut on Game Pass to bolster Game Pass? Y'all don't think they wouldn't do that? Really? Really? You think they would be cool with waiting 2-3 years to drop a COD project or to drop a COD title on Game Pass every year instead of like, come on. Like, you know, I'm just being real with the shit, you know? Why wouldn't they? Bobby Kotick made Activision the money maker it is now. Is it advantageous to keep him? No. But you can do an annualized COD without Bobby Kotick, Christian. I don't know if you knew that, but like there's a lot more to Activision than just Bobby Kotick, right? And wouldn't it be the best and like more, I don't know, like and once again, we're talking about businesses, we're talking about companies that exist to make money, right? So why wouldn't you have a COD release every year on Game Pass to bolster Game Pass sales? Why? I ask, why wouldn't you? If you're a corporation that is out there to make money. You know? Hold on. I'm gonna let my cat out. Hold on. He keeps crying. Ow. Ah. In total, out of everything that's happening, Microsoft is being super consumer friendly. On date, great games for the price of playing online at PS4, PS5 Pro. You're not wrong. I can't disagree with that. They are very prosumer. They are very, very pro-consumer with game. The Game Pass model itself is a very pro-consumer thing, absolutely. Now, I want a cat. I feel you. Then same thing with COD. It's advantageous to not change things, but they're changing them with management. They can't change things with releases. They can afford it. Then same thing with COD. It's advantageous to not change things, but they're changing things with management. But they can change things with... Christian, I'm sorry. Is there a Is there a blog post that I'm missing? Did they say that they're gonna change COD? Is there something I'm missing here, or that I'm not informed of somehow? I would love to know. If I'm missing something out of this equation, please let me know. But Irish Xbox Gaming, I don't think COD will change much. I think it will stay on PlayStation and be every year. I think it'll stay on. I think it'll still be annualized. I don't know about being on PlayStation. I don't know. Once again, I'm open to being wrong about that, but I think we all should just prepare and not try to have the same conversations like we did last year with Bethesda. Let's just not do that no more. You know what I'm saying? Let's just not. You know? It is a Microsoft-owned game, so let's just expect that it's going to be not on PlayStation platforms, period. I'm saying if you think COD currently makes too much sense to change... I'm saying if you think COD currently makes too much sense to change, the same can extend to Bobby's rule over Activision because he led this to success. I'm saying if you think COD currently makes too much sense to change, the same can extend to Bobby's rule. Okay, I'm saying if you think COD currently makes too much sense to change, the same can extend to Bobby's rule over Activision because he led to success. You know that how do I put this? You can just do and keep the status quo without having Bobby there because once again it makes money. If I'm Phil, I'd make a support studio for Warzone, and until that sucks work on the exclusivity, and then if AD Ward, you get COD this year for story, Treyarch, you start working on your story. If Xbox can afford to change Bobby's rules and making this mega success company, they can afford to change how COD operates. It would be risky to move it from PlayStation. I think COD is different from a Starfield that releases once every 5 years. Putting it on Xbox 360 would make money through Game Pass sales, but lose a lot too. So it would be a risk. Guys, like people COD is a system seller. People will move where COD is. And people will buy Xboxes to play COD. I'm telling you. That's what would happen. You know, you're gonna wake up with a headache tomorrow. No, I'm good. I'll be alright. Thank you though. I disagree. Game Pass and whatever Spartacus will be are a detriment to gaming as a whole and condition people to be complacent to quality games. But time will tell. We'll see. Yeah, that's a whole big different thing. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a whole thing that I don't think anyone can really can really see what the ramifications are of like these services, but we'll see. Carlos says, now Kev, you could be right, but how Xbox is structured right now, I can see both options working, annual or every 2 years. I mean, sure. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm going to be right. I'm just saying that like what makes the most sense fiscally, right? Like, why wouldn't you put an annualized franchise on Game Pass to keep people in Game Pass? Like, why wouldn't you do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't see why you would not do that. You know? And no, you don't need Bobby Kotick to continue an annualized franchise of COD. I think there's been other annualized franchises besides COD. a lot of other ALS franchises. You know? So I don't quite see like, oh, how because Bobby's leaving, that equates to no more ALS franchise and no more making money? What? That okay. All right. I was making a metaphor. I don't think it translated. Well, you're typing and I'm talking, so that can happen for sure. That can happen. Microsoft have said they will put their first party on Game Pass. COD will be on Game Pass. Bobby's irrelevant. Oh, 100% COD. 100% COD's gonna be on Game Pass. My thought is like if they're debating on like whether they should do annualized franchises or do it every like bi-yearly or whatever, right? I mean, they're trying to bolster Game Pass, so why not have an annual COD release on Game Pass? Like, people will come for that. People will buy Xboxes and buy PCs for that. They will do that. Think about this carefully. Spider-Man is an exclusive. What will Microsoft do when they have it as an exclusive? Xbox will flex the game, and with only one platform to work on, it'll be better. Okay. Think about this carefully. Spider-Man is an exclusive. What will Microsoft do when they have it as an exclusive? I think you mean COD, right? Xbox will flex the game, and with only platform to work on, it'll be better. I see Game Pass on COD next week. Hell yeah. Absolutely, that's definitely gonna happen. I have made my gaming channel to do with Xbox, but I don't care about COD. I'd rather them buy Square and do another Deus Ex and Thief. Interesting. I just thought like competition in this gen, like I thought how Xbox was going to respond to like the PS4 gen was like them like making their own games and not like buying third party, you know? That's where I'm at, where it's like I just wish they, you know, took a more like PlayStation approach of just like, you know, and it's not that like they're not doing that, they are doing that, to be fair. We just have yet to see more of that come to fruition in terms of actual footage and gameplay and all that, like Redfall, you know, now like Starfield, I guess, too, you know what I'm saying? Well, not even I guess, like Starfield as well. But if keeping COD annual makes sense because of how much money it makes, why does it make sense to take it off PlayStation when it's the best? Oh my fucking god. It makes sense because it's bolstering Game Pass that is $10 every month and is a thing that is going to hook people more. How does that not make sense? What the fuck are we talking about? Christian, don't you think Microsoft would rather entice people to get a taste of Game Pass through Call of Duty and stay there, as opposed to getting a lot, to be fair, a lot of one-time purchases off of PlayStation? You know? It's all about Game Pass. I told this to you last year, Christian, as well. It's all about Game Pass. This is the MO. It still bolsters Game Pass with $15 on there, but $70 on PlayStation. Microsoft wants as many Game Pass subscribers as humanly possible. How you do that is you put COD on Game Pass and do not bring it to PlayStation. It is clear, you know? You know what I'm saying? Clear as day. Honestly, I saw Microsoft buying Sega and PlayStation buying Konami this year, and that was it. I never saw this coming at all. No one did. Absolutely no one did. Also, Jason Schreier said Phil approached Activision last year. Yeah. Yeah, like of course this was happening last year and like was I think that was happening last year for sure. Xbox Irish Xbox Gaming. If they did take it off PlayStation, then there would be a lot more Series S sold. Yeah, exactly. Like I said before, the people are going to move where COD is, period. They're either going to buy a PC, they're going to buy a Series S, buy a Series X, or they're going to get a Game Pass subscription via streaming from TV or xCloud, etc. Like they're going to make it work. Let's be honest here. It was this let's be honest here. If it was this year, it was going to be boring. This move just flipped the chessboard, and with this unease going on, it's obvious that the competition is starting to heat up. Oh, absolutely, I agree. Joe Shago, I still think that a ton PS5 anyway with the PS collection and PlayStation Plus and PS Now it's the same thing, if not better than Game Pass. But not gonna lie, my bias is also shining here. Jay Shaco, I feel you're saying, because here's what I believe. Here's what I believe, right? And a lot of people ain't gonna like this, right? But I think this is close to a fact as you can get, right? Even if you look at the PlayStation Plus collection, right? Even if you look at the PlayStation Plus collection, right? There are more quality games on that service. You know what? I'm not gonna say it. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Just Jay Shaco, I feel what you're saying. I'm not gonna finish that statement. Never mind. Minecraft is on PlayStation because Xbox wasn't ready and Game Pass wasn't where it is now. Forget COD. Minecraft is on PlayStation because Xbox wasn't ready and Game Pass wasn't where it is now. I don't know if that's... Wait, because Microsoft bought Mojang, right, in like 2000... Yeah, it was before Game Pass. I forgot. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. Mass Effect 2 is better than anything on PlayStation Collection. Don't even try. Oh, okay, Christian. Okay. Sure. I mean, I was gonna say, once you play it, you'll agree. No, I'm sure I'll love Mass Effect 2, absolutely. But like, what I was gonna say was that in terms of quality games, PlayStation Plus collection is over anything as far as I'm aware. See, because I don't like saying that out loud because I have not played a lot of Xbox games, but I don't think it's that like y'all know what I can't say technically, right? Because I cannot say that because I have not played a lot of Xbox games, right? To be fair, but y'all know where the quality games are. Y'all know where the quality games are. Not saying that there's horrible games on Game Pass. There's a lot of good games on there. A lot of good fun games that are on there, right? But let's keep it real with everyone, you know? Let's keep it a buck 50 on which side has better games, you know? Let's just be realistic about it, you know? Let's just be real about it, you know? That's all I'm saying. Let's see. Yep, Microsoft and Phil Spencer are gonna have a tough time riding that ship. Having both, I have to agree. Ali. Wait, what did Ali say? Oh, you're agreeing with me, Eugene. Yeah, okay. I have to agree, Ali. Sony for life. Game Pass has a lot of shovelware, but it also has a lot of day one games about a year old. Yeah, for sure. You're right. Definitely. You're right. That's the difference of Game Pass. Yeah. Absolutely. And on top of that, to play devil's advocate and be absolutely fair, PS Now got a lot of shovelware. PS Now got a lot of shovelware. You know what I'm saying? How many games are on PS Plus collection? I bet you I can find as many great games on Game Pass right now. Christian, do not play this fucking game. Christian, do not play this game, bro. Do not play this game. Tell me one game better than God of War. Tell me one game that's on Game Pass that's better than God of War that you can say with a straight face, Christian. Go ahead. I'll wait. I can play God of War 2 and Horizon 2 on my PS4, and there isn't for my PS5 yet. Bet. Kev, have you accepted PC as your Lord and Savior now? Shit. We'll see. We'll see. Christian, do you really think that Mass Effect 2 is better than God of War? Do you? But do you though? Do you though? Do you though? I'm just curious. And well, last time I checked, I'm sorry. Is EA owned by Xbox? I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. Like, you know what I'm saying? But granted, it is on Game Pass. That is what I said. Oh, so Bloodborne is Bloodborne's on PS Plus Collection, Christian. Isn't that like your fucking holy grail? Isn't that your god tier game? Persona 5, Last of Us, Monster Hunter World. Didn't you like that game as well? You know what I'm saying? Interesting. The Last Guardian. I thought you liked that, right? Okay. Just checking, but you know exactly what I mean, Christian. Matsu's better than Bloodborne. Okay, all right. Damn, Christian. Like, I just recall you just really just giving the top on Bloodborne all these years, but all of a sudden, no. There's better games, I guess. I guess I don't know. That's you predicting. I've never played The Last Guardian. Okay, bet. Thought you did. My bad. I prefer Halo Infinite than God of War. I did like God of War. I loved Horizon and Ghost of Tsushima, but these releases are few and far between. I will get a PS5 in a year or two. Yeah. I totally hear you on that. Bloodborne is the best PS4 exclusive. That doesn't mean it's the best game ever. Okay. All right, Christian. Okay. All right. I have never heard you say Mass Effect 2 is better than Bloodborne, and I've never heard you say Mass Effect 2 is the best game of Bloodborne. I've never heard you say that, but all right. When I heard of this acquisition, I didn't think of their games because I don't play their games, but my mind immediately went to the discrimination inside of the company. Hope they do change that. The conversation has. So you never thought to tell me that while we were talking about Mass Effect 1 last year? Really? Because we've talked about Mass Effect a lot. I've just never heard you say that Mass Effect 2 is better than any of these games. And like I'm not saying it's not. I just never heard you say it until literally right now. So that's pretty interesting. Is all I'm saying. I'm not even saying you're lying. I just think it's interesting. Like why has I don't recall. I heard you said you liked it. I think you even went so far to say that is your favorite game in the Mass Effect trilogy, but like I never heard you giving the top like this to Mass Effect 2. Hold up. I never heard this before. Never heard this before. Never heard that. Never heard that. I would love to be wrong though. If I'm just forgetting, please enlighten me. If you've told me that before. I can find the Gamecast. Okay, go ahead. Find the Gamecast. Go ahead. Halo Infinite's campaign is honestly boring. I mean, you can run into it. Yeah, I can't speak about Halo Infinite, obviously. Like, I haven't played it. You know, I've heard things from both sides about that game, that it's great and that it's bad. I've heard both sides, so I'm not really sure where that one lands overall. And I'm also not any authority to talk about that just because I haven't played it. It would be interesting to bring Warcraft 3 or StarCraft to console. Won't happen though. I don't care about Candy Crush or World of Warcraft or COD or Tony Hawk. Interesting. I do wanna ask Christian something. If you know what? Actually, you know what? No, never mind. I don't know. How do I let me see. Someone said something where was it? It was the Swiss guy when he says, when I heard of this acquisition, your mind immediately went to the discrimination inside of the company. I hope they make changes ASAP. No, because I'm not even sure how I feel about that whole aspect of it. Where like, does it sit right with you that higher up, the higher ups in Activision that let harassment persist multiple years and try to cover it up and all that, like that they're getting like this sort of like soft landing with them being sold for 42% over the market share, and they're gonna make a lot of money off of this acquisition? Like, is that cool with everyone? You know? Because it's hard because like yes, like that is a necessary step that like will happen just contractually, but also it's like the overwhelming positive of that is that they're under new leadership and that they will be treated better. At least I believe that is pretty much essentially a fact. Like I would be I really don't think that like the problems that they have are going to continue under Microsoft, like 100%, right? If they left any way other than death, they'd make a lot of money on their way out regardless. That just makes it happen sooner than later. It's a net positive in my opinion. All right. Like, I don't know. Like, I was just wondering, you know, because like, you went so as far as to like boycott Activision games, right? And that was obviously your choice. Nothing wrong with that. You know, if you want to do that, then do that. Absolutely. But like, I'm just wondering, like, how do you feel that like they are, you know, going to make a lot of this acquisition in spite of what they've done, you know? Schreier said the other day the employees were relieved. Weren't there some that were also talking about how they didn't like that aspect of it, where they got like financial, like it, like in a way you can look at it as like a financial reward for the mess they fucking made in a division that now they're just bought, and like it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? His soft landing was a major part of the deal in my take. Yeah, on top of like him still being there, I assume like contractual stuff. Like I don't think that Phil Spencer would like him there any longer than anyone else, you know? Now that I have your attention and you're reading this, RB in the Chief has a new episode coming tonight, about 5 or 6 hours till it's out. Master Chef, he's cool. What the hell? What is that? They wanted him to pay the employees. Absolutely. The way the world works, this is just how it is. If they don't have to deal with current management sooner than later, that's good. Yeah. Okay. I was curious. Like, obviously, I know you're not happy with them getting paid a lot off the acquisition. Like, I know you're not happy about that, but like, I was wondering of like, do you think there could have been another way, right? Like, and like, I get it's a matter of just time, right? And like, this is like, I guess, quote unquote, the quickest way that they could turn around, right? And that's probably more double down on the fact that like, it's clear that the board of directors were not going to push out Bobby. Like, they were standing behind Bobby multiple times. They said that throughout December and November. You know what I'm saying? But the way it sucks he gets paid, but he can't hurt any of thousands of employees sooner than he would have otherwise. Like, if this didn't happen, when does it change? When Bobby retires, the board didn't want him gone. A year in, I bet they will downsize. They're going to flip that company on its head. You know what? I think watching Furry P replace my time playing COD. Furry P? What is that? I don't think so. Just because of my experience working in the bigger business companies. You don't think what, Carlos, specifically? J Shock, both consoles are cool. Wait. Furry P. What did I say? I'm thinking. That beat was fire. That beat was fire. Microsoft haven't downsized off an acquisition yet. A fake. I think that's what Carlos was talking about. That there was any way shitty board members and Bobby. Wait. That there was any way those shitty board members and Bobby leave without getting paid. Yeah. Like I knew. Yeah. But how I. Yeah. No. I guess whatever. Furry port. Oh, ew. Casey goes, ew. Not in this Christian Discord. Ew. Not in my Christian Minecraft server. Ew. All right, y'all. I think we got to kind of wrap up. Low-key, I got 20 minutes till Gamescast. And yeah. Casey goes, got me. He got my bitch ass. He fucking got me. Yeah, hate to see it. Yeah, hate to see it. Yeah, guys, I think that's about it. You know, it's gonna be a interesting time in the future. See where this goes. Tonight I plan to stream more Horizon. I was going to yesterday, but your boy was too tired at the gym. You know what I'm saying? I plan to stream tonight some Horizon. And yeah, this will be an ongoing conversation, of course. You know what I'm saying? We'll see where this goes. Fuck Kodak, man. Knew what was going on and women committed suicide over it. He can get the fuck out. Golden parachute or not. Did you watch the story trailer? Yeah, I'm going to break down that as well. Yeah. I still got to do that at some point. Yeah. I haven't watched it yet, actually. I actually haven't watched the story trailer yet, to be honest. But I'll watch it, obviously. And I'll probably do a breakdown of it too. But yeah, that's about it, guys. Let me know what y'all think about Activision being acquired. You know what I'm saying? This is more discussion, please. Other PS fanboys are talking nuts. Yeah, you know, I just try to keep it a buck 50 with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, I have a bias. Yes, I love PlayStation. Yes, I'm on this side. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't know. I just think like a lot of PlayStation people that are downplaying this move, I think you're crazy. This is obviously a huge deal. But yeah, I'm sure we will talk about this more over the coming weeks and all that. Stick around tonight for my Horizon Zero Dawn stream, of course. We're continuing that. And yeah, that's about it. Hope y'all enjoyed. Down below, find links to our Discord, our Twitter, and our Anchor link. That way you can listen to, of course, Road to Forbidden West on all podcast services every Sunday. Episode 3 is going to be in the works, of course, and will be out on Sunday as well. Definitely go check out that. And yeah, thank y'all for watching. And as always, greatness awaits.